Author Ruchira Gupta on the line. Her book is out, I Kick and I Fly. It's described as an unforgettable story of overcoming adversity by a lifelong activist who has dedicated her life to creating a world where no child is bought or sold. Ms. Gupta, we talk to you. Good morning.
Good morning. So pleased to be talking to somebody in Michigan. I have a friend who lives there, and he's listening in. Bill Smith, hi.
I just heard him say hi back. Thank you for that, friend, and certainly for your shout out to Michigan. Come visit us. You are a writer, feminist campaigner, professor of New York University, of course, founder of the anti-sex trafficking organization, APNI, Women Worldwide. We'll talk about that. Your award winner is, well, let's get into the conversation about this inspiration of I Kick and I Fly. What was it?
I work with victims of sex trafficking and their children among nomadic tribes in India. And I began writing I Kick and I Fly when a girl who's just like the girl in my book, her name is Hira, she's 14 years old, and she's about to be sold into prostitution. So in real life, I was trying to get girls like Hira to stay in school, but they were constantly being attacked and assaulted by traffickers who wanted to buy them and sell them. And I knew that it was hard in school because they were bullied. I knew it was hard outside because they were being thrown around by their families, which were poor, and by the organized criminal networks waiting to pounce on them. And in the middle of that, I thought, even if they get caught, even if they get kidnapped, at least they should have a way to fight back. And I had started karate lessons for the kids in my NGO in India. And I began writing I Kick and I Fly when the first girl in my NGO won a gold medal in karate. And I thought, I need to share this story with the world, with other young people who are facing so many adversities in their life, body shaming and bullying and homelessness and food insecurity. So I thought, they should know that girls can fight back and girls can win. And they should understand the power of their body and the power of the community because it's based on truth. And I thought I have a true story to share. And that's why I wrote I Kick and I Fly, to take it to young people across the world.
Yes, thank you for that. Before I get into, we know the serious nature of the subject matter, I want you to touch on that. But then this is, I Kick and I Fly, is fundamentally a very hopeful story of triumph. So remind us again, sex trafficking happens, probably most likely here in West Michigan.
Absolutely. Michigan is both a source state and a destination state. And the girls who are trafficked in Michigan are between the ages of 13 and 15. Many of them are runaway children. Some are from foster homes where they are looking for love. Some of them are looking to just find a way out of the structure and hopelessness that they feel in their lives. And then they end up recruited by people who literally take advantage of their vulnerability to buy and sell them. And once they are in that situation, it's a no, there's no way to return.
Yes,
then they're constantly blackmailed. So yes, Michigan is a hotspot for trafficking in the United States.
Yes. This story is beautifully written. The strong heroine working hard through martial arts training, as you mentioned. And you use storytelling to help young people, understand and deal with difficulties of the world in general?
I do. I used to be a journalist, and the whole story. I became a lifelong activist because, as a journalist, I stumbled upon rows of missing girls in villages in Nepal, and I wanted to tell the story to expose the problem in the world. I won an Emmy for a documentary I made on that called "The Selling of Innocence." And then I wanted to use the Emmy to make a difference and not tell another story for the time being. So I started the NGO and started working to change laws and policies to combat human trafficking. Because, as a journalist, I'd covered war and famine and hunger, but I had never seen this kind of intimate violence on this scale, and that too to little girls in my life. So when I saw these girls trapped in the brothels of Bombay, I wanted to do something about it. And, I felt just stories would make a difference. Though, now in hindsight, I feel my story did make a difference because I took the documentary to the U.S. Senate, and that persuaded, I testified, showed the documentary, and that persuaded two senators, a Democrat and a Republican, Wellstone and Brownback, to create a bipartisan bill, which today is the United States Trafficking Victim Protection Act. Before that, no law existed to protect these girls or punish the traffickers.
Talking about the book I Kick and I Fly by Ruchira Gupta, and talking more to you, tell us about some of the children in your organization. Is it Apne App Women Worldwide that you've worked with?
Yes, it's called Apne App Women Worldwide. There's a website, and of course people can go in and learn more. I also have a lot of information on my own website, ruchiragupta.com. And there are resources for students, parents, teachers. There are also calls to action because, the kids that I work with in my NGO, Apne Aap, are kids who are born to women who are trafficked. So their mothers are in prostitution, their fathers and their brothers are their pimps, and very often they are prostituted. I use the word deliberately prostituted because this is something which is done to them, and they are raped by 8 or 10 men a night, sometimes in the back room of the very home they were born in mud huts. So these kids are the ones I want to prevent from being trafficked. I have a community center in the middle of those mud huts, which are brothels, where the children come and study. Once they're ready for school, I enroll them in a mainstream school or in my own school, where we make sure that they have proper food, proper housing, and proper support with teachers to be able to finish school and college. And through education, I prevent their trafficking, their sex trafficking. And there are thousands of girls who are now graduates of my NGO, Apne Aap, who have finished school and college and have jobs and are literally helping their mothers by looking after them and moving them out of the red light area. The red light area where I began working 20 years ago, now there were 72 brothels, the one I describe in I Kick and I Fly, the book that I've written. And today there are only 2 brothels there because the kids went to school, exactly the kind of school that I describe in I Kick and I Fly. The girls are exactly like Hira. They became karate champions, kung fu champions. They fought back. Their mothers stood by them. The women in the community organized to keep their daughters in school. And so the fathers and the brothers found the courage because they saw the women fighting the organized crime networks. And everything changed. And I can see that change is possible. So, for every girl that I've succeeded with or every law that I've managed to pass, I want to tell people in Michigan that I know that you have a human trafficking problem in your state, in the cities where you live in, but it can be overcome. Don't get daunted by thinking,
Yes.
it's too big a crime. Communities can come together and protect their daughters.
Oh, that and much, much more in your latest I Kick and I Fly. Ms. Gupta, how do we find out more information? Is there a website or more?
Yes, there's a website called ruchiragupta.com. There's a website called ikickandifly.com. And there's a website for my NGO, if you want to volunteer or donate, called apneaap.org.
Thanks for your time. I Kick and I Fly. Enjoy your day.